There are some guests who leave behind dirty dishes, some leave bad reviews, and some never leave at all. Tonight's story comes from a small mountain town hidden deep in the forests of Oregon, a place where the trees seem to swallow sound, a place where the fog hangs between the pines like ghosts, and a place where one Airbnb guest checked in, but never checked out. In the fall of 2024, Emily Carter owned a small cabin outside the town of Pine Hollow, Oregon. The cabin sat alone in the woods. The nearest neighbor was over a mile away. Most guests loved it. It was quiet, peaceful, perfect for people wanting to escape city life. One evening, Emily received a booking request. The guest's name was Michael Reed. His profile was perfect. Verified identity, excellent reviews, friendly messages, nothing unusual. He booked the cabin for 4 nights. Emily approved the reservation. 3 days later, Michael arrived. He was polite, quiet, and carried only one black duffel bag. Emily thought he seemed a little strange, not dangerous, just distant, like his mind was somewhere else. Still, guests came in all types. She handed him the keys and drove away. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. 4 days later, checkout time arrived. 11 a.m. Emily waited for the notification. Nothing. No message. No checkout confirmation. She sent a text. No response. An hour later, she drove to the cabin. Michael's truck was still parked outside. The curtains were closed. She knocked. No answer. She knocked again. Still nothing. Then she heard footsteps inside. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Someone was definitely there. "Michael," she called. Silence. The footsteps stopped. Emily suddenly felt uneasy. The woods around the cabin seemed strangely quiet. No birds, no wind, nothing. She returned to her car and contacted Airbnb support. Later that afternoon, a sheriff's deputy accompanied her back to the property. They unlocked the door. The cabin was empty, completely empty. No luggage, no clothing, no food, no signs anyone had ever stayed there. The bed was perfectly made. The bathroom was spotless. Even the trash can was empty. The deputy searched every room. Nothing. Michael was gone. His truck was gone too. Yet Emily knew she had seen it only hours earlier. The deputy suggested she was mistaken. Maybe she had imagined it. But Emily knew what she had seen. And more importantly, she knew what she had heard. That night, Emily received a motion alert from the cabin's security camera. The alert arrived at exactly 2:13 a.m. She opened the app. The porch camera showed movement. Someone was standing outside the cabin. The figure appeared tall, motionless, staring directly at the front door. Emily zoomed in. The image became grainy. Then the figure vanished. Not walked away, not ran away. Vanished. The camera showed nothing but empty darkness. Over the next week, the alerts continued, always between 2 and 3 in the morning, always showing strange activity. Sometimes a shadow moved across the porch. Sometimes lights appeared inside the empty cabin. Once Emily saw a silhouette standing in the upstairs window, watching the forest, watching something she couldn't see. She contacted law enforcement again. Officers searched the property. Nothing. No footprints. No signs of trespassing. No evidence. But the cameras kept recording, night after night. 2 weeks later, Emily received a notification from Airbnb. A new review had been posted by Michael Reed. 5 stars. The review said only 6 words. "Thank you. I'll stay forever." Emily stared at the screen. That wasn't possible. The reservation had ended weeks earlier. Airbnb support checked the account. They found something even stranger. Michael's profile no longer existed. It had been deleted. Yet somehow the review remained. Nobody could explain it. A month later, 2 hikers became lost in the forest near Pine Hollow. After wandering for hours, they discovered Emily's cabin. They knocked on the door. No answer. Then they looked through a window. A man stood inside, watching them. Neither hiker recognized him, but they both described the same thing: tall, thin, pale, expressionless. The hikers left immediately. Later, they told police they had the overwhelming feeling that if the door opened, something terrible would happen. The strange events began affecting Emily's life. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't stop thinking about Michael. Finally, she decided to spend one night in the cabin herself. She arrived before sunset, locked every door, checked every room. Everything appeared normal. At midnight, she sat in the living room listening to the forest. At 2:13 a.m., she heard a noise, a soft knock, coming from beneath the floor. Emily froze. The sound came again. Knock, knock, knock. The cabin had a small basement, one she rarely used. Slowly, she grabbed a flashlight and walked downstairs. The basement smelled damp, cold, unnaturally cold. Then she noticed something. Mud. Fresh mud. Footprints covered the concrete floor, leading toward the far wall, and stopping. There was nowhere else to go. No door, no window, nothing. Yet the footprints ended there, as if someone had walked directly into solid concrete. Terrified, Emily rushed upstairs. As she reached the living room, she noticed the television had turned on by itself. Static filled the screen. Then a video appeared, black and white footage from the cabin security cameras. The footage showed Michael entering the property on his first day, but something was wrong. As he stepped out of his truck, he wasn't alone. A second figure emerged from the forest behind him, tall, thin, dark, following him, watching him. The figure remained in every frame, always standing behind Michael, always getting closer. The next morning, Emily began researching missing persons reports. After hours of searching, she found something disturbing. A man named Michael Reed had disappeared in the Oregon wilderness 10 years earlier. Same name, same face, same photograph. According to reports, search teams never found his body. The official conclusion: lost in the forest. Presumed dead. Emily's hands trembled. If Michael had died 10 years ago, who checked into her cabin? Emily immediately put the property up for sale. She wanted nothing more to do with it. Before leaving for good, she made one final trip, just to collect her remaining belongings. The cabin looked normal, peaceful, silent. She loaded her car, locked the door, and turned to leave. Then she noticed something carved into the wooden porch railing. Words she had never seen before, freshly carved, deep into the wood. They read, "I wasn't the guest." Emily felt her blood run cold. Below that sentence was another. "It followed me here." And beneath that, one final line, the deepest carving of all. "Now it's waiting for you." Emily abandoned the property that same day. The cabin still stands somewhere in the forests outside Pine Hollow, empty, forgotten, rotting among the trees. Locals claim strange lights still appear in the windows. Hikers report seeing a man standing on the porch, watching the woods, waiting. And every few months, a new Airbnb listing appears online. The photographs are always the same cabin. The host's name is always different. But every listing contains the exact same review. 5 stars, 6 simple words. "Thank you. I'll stay forever." If you enjoyed tonight's story, make sure to subscribe to Wilderness Screams for more terrifying tales from lonely forests, abandoned roads, forgotten towns, and places where something is always watching from the darkness. And remember, if you're ever alone in a cabin deep in the woods, and you hear footsteps outside after midnight, don't open the door, because sometimes the thing knocking isn't trying to get in, it's trying to make sure you're still there. Good night.